The sun burned the sky, but the land remained cold. In the unforgiving West, where dust and greed ruled equally, men either built legends or vanished. This is the story of a shadow who chose to do both. He came silently. Along the dusty roads, in the crooked shadow of the sun, his footsteps mingled with the sound of the wind. He hid his face with a sack cut from a flour bag, eyes visible through two small holes, cold yet possessing a strange depth. He always wore a white coat, a long coat that seemed to race with the wind. Sometimes they said the man inside was more a shadow than the coat. Sometimes they also said he wasn't just a thief. He was a spirit who had turned his own pain, his own losses, into justice. His name was Charles E. Boles, but history knew him differently. Black Bart, the gentleman bandit. He was born in Norfolk, England. In 1829, he moved to America with his family, and in his youth, he traveled to California seeking gold. He didn't find gold, but he found something more valuable: the greed within people. He realized life's injustice on those lands. He fought in the Civil War, returned home, married a woman named Mary Elizabeth Johnson, and had 4 children. But one day, the simple life felt too small for him. Perhaps the war inside him had never ended. Perhaps he was searching for true freedom in a quiet corner of the world. In 1875, he returned with a new name. He was now Black Bart. He began robbing stagecoach caravans, but not with his gun, but with his silence and his verses. A flour sack over his face, a black hat on his head, a white coat on his back. The rifle in his hands was sometimes just made of wood, because he hated violence. He was even afraid of horses. After every robbery, he would flee on foot. They said Bart never had a horse. He simply rode his own shadow. His gentleness was strange. He would never take a penny from female passengers, and he never laid a hand on anyone. After the robbery, as if leaving a stage, he would leave a trace behind, a poem. Once he wrote these verses: "For many years I toiled for bread and honor, but my patience has run out. You soft-haired boys have pushed me too far." Another time, these lines remained. Perhaps success, perhaps defeat, let whatever comes, come. If there is money in that box, it is already mine. He had no voice, but his words circulated everywhere. He had robbed caravans 28 times. Each time he vanished without a trace. Each time, the police followed him one step behind, but they could never catch him until 1883. That year, the thread of fate broke. During the last robbery, he made a mistake. A handkerchief fell from his pocket. The laundry mark on it, Ferguson and Biggs Laundry, became the detective's trail. The man leading this case was James Hume, one of the quietest yet most persistent detectives of that era. Hume followed the clues all the way to San Francisco and found Black Bart. When he was captured, Bart simply smiled. He offered no resistance. In court, he stood silently and accepted all charges. Once, when the judge asked him why he took this path, his answer was short: because sometimes justice must hide from the law. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison. Even in prison, Bart was quiet. Others were beaten. They screamed, but he simply wrote. The prisoners said that sometimes at night, he would recite poetry in a whisper. He was released in January 1888. By then, he had aged. His hair was white, and there was a strange weariness in his eyes. He stayed at the Nevada House Hotel in San Francisco. Journalists found him and asked, "Bart, will you return to the road?" He smiled. "Gentlemen, I am done with that line of work." A few weeks later, the hotel room was empty. No one knew where he had gone. Some rumors circulated. Supposedly, he began living in another city under a new name. Supposedly, a few years later, verses very similar to Bart's own lines were heard at a poets' gathering. Someone allegedly said, "The man who wrote that poem once wore a white coat." Some claimed he died in New York in 1917, but no one could be certain. Perhaps he had long disappeared. Perhaps he was still walking the roads of the West with the wind. Black Bart is now not a name, but a tale. He is a ghost who instilled fear without bloodshed, who stole by writing poetry, a phantom who vanished inside a white coat. Perhaps the only sentence he wanted to say to the world was this: justice is sometimes hidden, not in the rifle, but in the verse.